Hello friends, welcome to today's class. So today we'll start with your next module, that is module number 4. So module number 4 is basically consisting of your linear algebra. It consists of linear algebra and the various concepts of your linear algebra. Both module number 4 and module number 5 will be dealing with your linear algebra. That is, in the first module we'll deal with your various concepts of matrices and the operations of matrices and all those things. And in module number 5 we will be dealing with your determinants and the various operations of determinants and so on. Okay, so to begin with, let us not directly jump into the concepts. First, let us try to understand what do we actually mean by this linear algebra. So I will give you a short glimpse of the introduction, what actually is your linear algebra, and moving forward I will try to explain you what are the various type of system of equations, how they could be solved and all those things. So let us begin. See, linear algebra is nothing but it is one of the very major disciplines of your mathematics, and it basically deals with vectors. Okay, so if we want to understand linear algebra, we should be having a knowledge of your vectors and matrices. So when these two are combined together, we'll get a glimpse of what actually is your linear algebra. Okay, so where actually is this linear algebra used? So before going into that, let us go through the definition. So the large data sets are often comprised of hundreds and millions of individual data items. So it is easier to work with such data and operate on it when it is represented in the form of vectors and matrices. So say for example, I have the data of some 20,000 students and I want to work with that data. Then that data is represented in the form of vectors and matrices. So when such data, which is very huge, is represented with the help of vectors and matrices, it becomes very easy for us to analyze it, to work with it. Okay, so there is what your linear algebra comes into picture. Okay, so linear algebra is nothing but it deals with operations on vectors. It deals with operations on vectors, and it is the basic fundamental thing for our machine learning and also many of the data processing algorithms. So if you want to understand this machine learning concept and this data processing concepts, it becomes a basic fundamental thing to understand what actually is your linear algebra. Okay, so when we speak of algebra, algebra is basically classified into classical algebra, linear algebra, abstract algebra and Boolean algebra. So these are some of the categories of your algebra. So basically we will be concentrating on what actually is your linear algebra. So linear algebra, as we spoke just now, it deals with all your vector spaces and linear mappings. Linear is nothing but one-to-one mapping. All the one-to-one mappings are dealt in your linear algebra. Now coming to abstract algebra, abstract algebra is nothing but it consists of most of the set theory, groups, rings, fields and so on. So usually what actually we feel is whatever the linear algebra is there, it is depending on your abstract algebra. That means if I want to understand what actually is this linear algebra, it becomes very much essential to understand few concepts of your abstract algebra. That is, you should know few concepts of your set theory, groups, rings, field and so on. So I will give you a short glimpse of what actually are this, but what I would suggest is you can get back to your previous classes and just have a glimpse of what actually are this set theory, groups, rings, field and so on. Okay, so that would be very helpful for us. So to have a prerequisites, these are the prerequisites if you want to understand this linear algebra. Okay, so let us say we will try to understand the first thing, that is what actually is a group. So a group is nothing but we denote it by G. So and we call it as closed, we call it as closed under the operation multiplication and if it satisfies the following properties. So let us say I will just reiterate it. So a group is a set G which is closed under an operation multiplication and it satisfies the following properties. Okay, so What do you mean by this closed? The meaning of closed is nothing but when I suppose if I have two numbers like say like say 3 and 4, and you do the multiplication and do the multiplication, and after multiplication the result which you will be getting is it will be again a number. If such thing happens, then we call it as a group. I'm just giving you an example. So the closed, if I have a group G and if it is closed under multiplication and if it satisfies all these properties, then we say it as a group. Okay, so let us see now what actually are these properties. The first property is identity property. You might have already learnt this identity property in your PUC and all those things. So let us see what actually is this identity property. In identity property, we will be having an element called as E, and this E is multiplied with a new variable, say X. Okay, and when you multiply this E with X, the answer you should get back is X itself, that is the variable itself. Okay, now there are few conditions to choose this X. Okay, so see here, this is the condition to choose the X, that is for all X, that is if you choose any value of X, then that X should belong your group. So it means that for all values of X, it should belong to the group G. So if this condition is satisfied and if this X is multiplied with our element E, then the answer you will be getting back is the variable itself or the X itself. Okay, so this property is called as identity property. So similar to this, we have an inverse property. Again, in inverse property, we will be choosing the variables, but here we would be requiring two elements. One is X. This X should be in the group G, and we will be choosing another element Y, and this Y also should be in the group G. Okay, then if you multiply your X and Y, or if you multiply your Y and X, the answer you will be getting back is the exponential, or sorry, the E, element E. Okay, so see here friends, the first identity tells us that it is very similar like identities, say this is 1 into X is, and so on. This is X into 1 and the answer is X itself, right? So if you multiply 5 into 1, what is the answer? 5. If you multiply 10 into 1, what is the answer? 10. Like that. Okay, and here inverse is nothing but if you take two elements X and Y and if you multiply them, then you will be getting the value E. Now where is this E? This E is also in the group G. This E also belongs in the group G. So this is the meaning of your inverse property, the second property. Yes. Next, going ahead, the next property you have is associative property. Associative property also you have already studied. Just I will give you a glimpse. It is nothing but please observe here. It is X into Y into Z. That means what now? When you first multiply Y into Z, you will get a value, and when you multiply that value with X, you will get a next value. Right. So whatever the answer you get here on the LHS must be equal to the answer which you get here on the RHS. Like say for example here, first you are multiplying X into Y, and then the answer which you get is multiplied with SZ. Okay. So this basically should be proved, that is LHS must be equal to RHS. The only small difference is in the placement of your brackets. First we are multiplying Y and Z. Here first we are multiplying X and Y. Okay, so this must be true. If this should be true, then we should choose our X, Y and Z such that they should belong to the group G. So this is nothing but your associative property, that is X multiplied by into the bracket Y and Z must be equal to the X multiplied by Y. So first multiply X and Y, which is multiplied by Z. That is the answer of your X and Y is multiplied with Z. So this is the meaning of your associative property. Okay, so these are the things, friends. So I hope the group is clear. The group is clear. In short, a group is nothing but what now? It should satisfy your multiplication. First thing, it should be closed under multiplication. The next thing is it should satisfy the properties I and A, which is nothing but identity, inverse and associativity. Okay, so this is the meaning of your group. Next, going ahead, the next thing we will try to see is a ring. What is a ring? Okay, so a set is called as a ring if it is closed under two operations. Here friends, see the difference. Here it must be closed in two operations. So which are those two operations? The first operation is your addition and the second operation is multiplication. Okay, so I hope you can clearly find out the difference between a group and a ring. A ring is what now? It should satisfy, it should be closed under plus and multiplication. A group is what now? It should be closed under multiplication. Okay, so this is the major difference. Next, it should satisfy the following properties. Let us look after now what actually are these properties which we are speaking of. Okay, so the first property we have is R must be an abelian group under addition. R must be an abelian group under addition. What is the meaning of abelian group? The meaning of abelian group is nothing but it must be a commutative group. That is, a plus b must be equal to b plus a. A into b must be equal to what now? B into a. So if that is satisfied, then it is a ring. Sorry, a slight change. It should be abelian group only under addition, not under multiplication. Okay, so see here friends, what I am trying to tell is, one second. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So what is trying to tell here now? R is an abelian group under addition. So what is the meaning of abelian group? It must be a commutative group. It must be a commutative group. So the commutative group is nothing but what now? Say for example I have A and B. So it means A plus B must be equal to B plus A. So A plus B must be equal to B plus A. If this condition is satisfied, that means that the first property or the first criteria is satisfied. Okay. Next is it must be associativity of X. Now how it should be associativity of multiplication? X is not X, it is associativity of multiplication. So that means what now? When you multiply A into B and B into C must be equal to A into B into C. So see here friends, first you multiply B into C, whose result when you multiply with A, here you first multiply A into B and whose result you multiply with C. Okay, so see here friends, it must be commutative with addition, right? It must be commutative with addition and it must be associative with multiplication. Next, it should also follow your distributive law. See, I hope you know what actually is commutative law, associative law and distributive law. Let's not waste much time on this. So first thing is what? It should be commutative and commutative under the condition of addition. It should be associative under the condition of multiplication and it should be distributive. Okay, so if all these three conditions are satisfied and if it is closed under addition and multiplication, then we call it as a ring. Okay, next we'll try to understand what actually is this field. Okay, so field is nothing but it is a set F which is closed under two operations, addition and multiplication. Okay, now what are the conditions now? Condition is nothing but F should be a abelian group under addition, that is it should be a commutative group, and F minus 0 must be an abelian group under multiplication. This is multiplication. Okay, so that is the difference between your field and ring. In ring, what is happening now? It should follow some three properties, but here in field it's not necessary to follow all the three properties. It should just be what now? It should be closed under the two operations and it should be a commutative under addition, and when you remove the 0 and when you take the field, it should be commutative under multiplication. Right, so it should be commutative under multiplication. So this is the meaning of your field. So I hope the basics are clear, the ring, field and the group. So these are the basics of whatever we would of your abstract algebra, of whatever we will be trying to like a few things which are very much essential for you to study in the study the further linear algebra. Okay. So now let us go ahead with the next thing. So the next thing we have is what are the terms which will be used in your linear algebra. Okay, this we'll see in the next video.